Now, Midland police are confirming that an active shooter was shot and killed at the Synergy in Odessa. That's according to the Midland Police Department. There is no active shooter at this time. All agencies are investigating reports of possible suspects. So that just came out now from Midland Police 3 minutes ago, confirmed that an active shooter was shot and killed at the Synergy in Odessa. They say there is no active shooter at this time. There are no, or all agencies, I should say, are investigating reports of possible suspects. As far as we can tell, they were perhaps coming through here just looking for someone. Maybe folks were spooked by something, but right now we're seeing folks walking back through Music City Mall. But again, Midland Police reporting it has been confirmed 3 minutes ago. They posted this on Facebook that the active shooter was shot and killed in the Synergy, or excuse me, at the Synergy in Odessa. There is no active shooter at this time. All agencies are investigating reports of possible suspects. We know that Odessa Fire Rescue has posted that all of their folks are safe. We're getting a number of texts. We're getting a number of emails. We're trying to get through all of this stuff.
But there are tweets over and over that I'm seeing saying that there is one trooper that is for sure dead as well. We cannot confirm that information. We can only confirm so much right now, but we do have a show coming up at 6 o'clock, and hopefully more information will unravel. And there's also, Dana, there's a press release right now at 5:30.
Press conference, Lauren, at 5:30. It's 5:36 right now. Obviously, given the nature of this situation, things probably aren't working quite on schedule. As soon as we have that press conference, we will be taking that live so you can hear from Odessa officials from themselves. We hope to get the latest information on whether there is a threat or if this threat has been contained, secured. As of right now, we still have no other information that says anything different than Odessa and Midland remain on lockdown. We know that in Midland a suspect has been killed, and I'm also getting some breaking information. This is very sad news, but it appears the victim is only 17 months old, has been transported, airlifted to the University Medical Center Hospital in Lubbock after being shot in what is reported the face. We're going to go back to Lauren now as she continues to monitor social media. Lauren.
Dana, a lot of things are unraveling right now. What we do know, you did say that the press conference is going on right now. Is that DPS or? It
will be held by the Odessa Police Department. It was scheduled for 5:30. We do have somebody on scene, so naturally with a situation, so many moving parts, these things can sometimes get a little bit delayed. So hopefully as soon as Odessa police officials are ready, we'll be able to take that press conference and broadcast it to the viewers.
Dana, a lot of people are asking if we know the description of one of the active shooters, as there has been confirmed to be more than one, but he was shot.
As of right now, of the two active shooters, we haven't received any identification as to who they might be, what they might look like, really how old they are. We have no idea anything about these active shooters, except for what cars they were driving. We know that there was the gold car that it's believed that they started in, and we believe that they drove to Odessa and they hijacked those two other vehicles. They hijacked a white pickup truck, and they also hijacked a mail van, a federal mail van. And then it appears that they split up, and one of those suspects has been reportedly killed by the Midland Police Department. We don't have any information on the second suspect as of right now, whether he's hiding or whether he's still driving around. That's information that we hope to receive, hopefully, in the next few minutes from the Odessa Police Department.
Now, was it said the last location of the active shooter that has not been captured yet?
We've heard, well, that's a great question, Lauren. There's been so many different reports. The timeline really appears to be something that hasn't been confirmed at this time. We've had reports of Synergy on lockdown. As you can see, the video on your screen right now shows the white pickup truck that appears to be surrounded. We don't know if that's possibly where a suspect was killed. We have a lot of information in pieces. We're trying to fit it all together. The timeline is generally one of the last things that kind of comes together. The latest active threat We can tell you at this point that Midland Police Department told us that it appears the Midland shooter has been killed and that there didn't appear to be an active threat in Midland. That was the latest information that we got from Midland about 20 minutes ago. So as far as where the latest activity of a possible active shooter, right now we would have to estimate that there might be more threat in the Odessa area. But that doesn't mean that people in Midland should go outside or start patrolling around and trying to... Everybody right now in Midland and Odessa needs to stay inside. That's the latest information from officials. Both Midland and Odessa are on lockdown. Allow police to secure the area. We'll bring you the information as soon as both suspects are secured. We know that one suspect has been killed by the Midland Police Department. We don't know the whereabouts. We don't know if police know what the whereabouts. We're waiting on this press conference that was scheduled for 5:30.
Let me get somebody over there.
Okay, we're just getting word in that that press conference is about to get started. So we're going to go ahead and toss to a reporter out there, our own Phoenix O'Connor, who's out with the Odessa Police Department, ready to take that press conference live.
Well, thank you, Dana. So right now I'm here at the Odessa Police Department. We are waiting for the Odessa Police Chief to make a statement. I can say personally, just over a few hours ago, I was getting my nails done here at a shopping center on 42nd Street when the owner started to lock the door and we were put on a personal lockdown. That's as soon as I went back in there to the news station. Now, there is a lot of rumors that are circling around Facebook and social media. I am told that Jerry Morales, mayor of Midland, made a statement to the New York Times that there was some people that were shot, although we are still waiting to confirm that. I also heard from another city official that there have been multiple shots in Midland by Clear Springs on 191. Now, 191 was blocked earlier. However, we are told that that has been released. Now, what you guys need to know at home, if you're in Odessa or Midland, it is best for you guys to stay inside and be safe, absolutely. And we're going to update you with all the information as soon as we have it into our newsroom. So stay with us right here on News West 9. You can also visit us on newswest9.com, and we're going to keep up to date with everything that we have so far. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you, Dana.
Thank you, Phoenix. We hope to hear from the Odessa Police Department as soon as they're ready. Obviously, this is a very sensitive incident, and we will give them all the time that they need to give us that latest information. I want to go ahead and recap everything that we've heard so far. It started as an absolutely sad and scary situation here in our own Permian Basin. Confirmed reports of 2 active shooters, shooting incidents in both Midland and Odessa. Now, what we've been able to put together a little bit from officials from the Midland District Attorney's Office, from the Midland Police Department, is that this all started from what appears to be a traffic stop at mile marker 131 off the loop, where 2 suspects opened fired, striking a DPS officer and possibly striking several civilians in that area, and then took off, went to Odessa, hijacked 2 vehicles, one being a white pickup truck, another being a federal mail van, and then it appears that they split up. We do know that there was another shooting incident in Odessa. Odessa Police Department has given us their latest numbers, which appear to be that 1 person was killed and 10 others were injured. Those that were injured were, most of them, we do have reports that some of them have been taken to the medical center hospital. In response, the medical center hospital has called in their entire staff to help with this emergency situation. We did get reports later that one of the suspects, if not both of the suspects, then made their way back to Midland. Now, from Midland, they were able to confirm just a few minutes ago that one of the suspects has been killed. We do not know the status of the second suspect. We are waiting on a press conference from the Odessa Police Department. And tragically, anytime given the nature of this kind of story, we'll be hearing from victims, and we'll be hearing victim stories as they come in. And we are already getting the tragic
again, if you could see them all, there are shoes that are left in place. There are a lot of cups and trash that were just basically dropped. So that's the situation you see here. And we've seen various groups come through with rifles. And so That's what we are seeing at this time. We are trying to stay away from the windows. We're staying off the desk, but we want to stay on because, again, this is still active, and we don't know that if this is wrapped up or not. And so that's why we want to make sure that we're staying on with you to get you the very latest as we can. So, once again, it appears now that it may be not as hectic here in the mall. Apparently, Midland Mayor Jerry Morales now on CNN right now, we are told. So he may be doing an interview. Perhaps that may be earlier. Jerry Morales on CNN right now, someone is reporting, doing an interview. So CNN, that's what I'm told, yes. Again, keep in mind, this is an active situation. We don't have an update either on, again, if this is completely over with. Midland Police only posting a few minutes ago that one person, active shooter, was shot and killed. No active shooter at this time. That's what they are reporting, but that is the only agency that is reporting that. Odessa Police is not reporting that. That was from Midland Police. They were the ones who also reported to our reporter who was there that one person was shot. So again, we are here at Music City Mall. It's been kind of chaotic. This may be the scene at various locations because there have been reports of shooting scenes all over. And so what's happening here may be what has happened throughout many of the places in the city. So keep that in mind because really this is something we never thought would happen in Midland, Odessa, but guess what, it has. And it is the Labor Day weekend. Some of you perhaps were here in the mall to do some shopping, maybe just to relax and spend time with family and friends. And the mall is now shut down. Music City Mall reporting that they are closed. They will not reopen until noon tomorrow. More police officers here. They're going store to store now looking. There are more officers with guns that are looking store to store right now.
And admirably
across the way right now from where we are, and there is a store where two officers with guns are going into. I don't know if they're searching store to store right now. Here comes another officer going into, Odessa police officer going in there. So right now there's something going on, some kind of report here of some kind in the mall because we are seeing a lot of police here who are here. Oh, they're getting people out. They're clearing people out. That's what they're doing. So police are going.
CNN reporting one officer may be shot.
Okay, CNN reporting, and that was with the Jerry Morales interview, correct? Okay, CNN had an interview with Jerry Morales. They're telling everybody to get out. Okay. We're being told to get out of the building completely, so we are now moving outside. We're going to leave our mics on. I'm going to continue to talk, but there are a number of officers now in the mall, and they're telling us to get out of the building. So we're going to stand out here. We're going to continue to get you more information as we can. This is a very active scene. We see lots of police cars who are here. There are DPS troopers who are here, a lot of law enforcement agencies, and they are in the mall, folks. They are out there going store to store and making folks leave. We have been told we had to leave the studio, so we are continuing to follow this. We don't know why they're asking us to get out of the mall, but they have.
And Jay, Matthew Albert joining you back here with you. Outside of Music City Mall, we had several troopers respond, OPD respond. Shortly after we had that scare, I spoke with a witness outside of the mall immediately following that bit of a scare.
Okay.
Saying they did hear some gunshots down in the part of the mall, near the food court part of the mall.
Okay.
This is from a witness who claimed to have seen this. We spoke to them. They ran all the way across to Lowe's, if you know our parking lot back here. That is where CPS is located right now. But of course, police responding. We saw them with their rifles. Each of them get their rifles out, telling people to get away, including us here at CBS 7. We have been evacuated out from our studios, but we're still broadcasting to you live via our wireless microphones, of course. But again, Odessa police, DPS troopers still to this guns drawn inside of this mall. We are not confirmed any shots being fired in the mall. We've just heard witness reports. We're not sure how this is connected, if at all, to the active shooter that is ongoing with OPS troopers and several county sheriff's offices.
All right, Matthew, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but CNN had an interview with Jerry Morales, Midland Mayor, and I believe he told CNN that perhaps one police officer was shot. Now, we don't know the extent of those injuries. We've had reports of several who were shot, but again, no reports of injuries on those either. So this situation has certainly escalated. It's not something we thought we'd ever be covering here at CBS 7. As I said, I've been on the air a long time, and nothing like this has ever happened. But we're looking right now across the mall parking lot here out back. We know you're looking at an empty set right now, but we're going to keep it up, and we're going to keep you up to date as to what we know so far. We're continuing to look at various law enforcement pages to see what kind of information we can get for you and, of course, pass on to you. But there are a lot of folks who are just now leaving the mall, who work at the various stores. There's another GPS call that's coming in, so there must have been reports of possible shots fired in here. Someone said that they heard them, so they were certainly going to take every precaution and check that out. And we want to be as safe as possible, and we hope that you are too. We want you to stay indoors. Do not get out. There are some around. We hope that you will stay as safe as possible and keep out of the area because this is still very active. Matthew?
Very, very active, and you can tell the scare that goes into them whenever they do get shots fired, possibly in Music City Mall, not confirmed again. There was lots of people running through the hallways, frantic to get to the nearest exit of Music City Mall. We're getting some other details right now.
We're getting a report here. CNN talked with Midland Mayor Jerry Morales. He's saying one Midland police officer and one DPS officer shot. We don't know the extent of those injuries. We want to reiterate that. So, okay, you can't hear us, so we need to maybe get closer, but we'll stay outside where you can continue to hear us. Apparently, we're cutting out, so we tried to kind of look through the parking lot, show you. Jerry Morales apparently told CNN in a, I don't know if it was a phone interview, but he is saying that one Midland police officer and one DPS officer shot. So, but again, we don't know the extent of injuries. Midland Police had reported earlier on their page that the suspect at the Synergy was shot and killed. That's all we know. We don't know if this is both or one. It appears perhaps that we are now being allowed back in carefully, but they did ask everyone to get away from the window. There are people now still continuing to stream out of here and leave. They were being told not to be here. So this is still very active. And of course, a lot of reports, there's still a very chaotic scene. So we're going to try to, of course, keep you up to date as much as possible because this is still very active. So police are still coming back through. They may tell our folks to leave again. We've tried to kind of stream back in, just see what's going on, and they may ask us to leave. So they're taking every precaution possible. There are a number of law enforcement agencies who are here, and so we just want to let you know that. A lot of folks are apparently, we're up on CNN as well right now, and so if you're joining us on CNN, a very active situation. We know that 20 people were injured. That's according to the city of Odessa. We've been told that various, there have been a number of officers shot, but we don't know the extent of those. We know that at least two, according to Midland Mayor Jerry Morales reporting there on CNN, that a Midland police officer, perhaps a DPS officer, shot. There have been a report of 20 others who were injured. We don't know what that means. The only thing we can confirm, Midland Police did confirm with our reporter who was at the Synergy Cinema in Odessa that one of the suspects was shot and killed there. That's all that they have confirmed on their Facebook page. So again, that's according to Midland Police. So I believe they were showing us leaving the set, Matthew. So again, we were in here and on the air live. They came through with police with guns, and so we wanted to make sure. An OPD person apparently told Fox News 5 people confirmed dead. That has not been confirmed to us by Odessa Police. Right. That's independent, but according to them, that's what they're reporting on.
And yes, again, this is still an active situation. As you know, as Jay was just talking about, Music City Mall here in Odessa had a shooting scare of its own. Right now, we just saw DPS troopers. As you know, we have this large window here facing Music City Mall. DPS troopers sweeping the building thoroughly, store by store, suite by suite, looking through, evacuating more shoppers who were still in here sheltering in place while the situation was still ongoing. Because as you know, earlier in the day, when all this unfolded, Music City Mall went into a lockdown, shut all their stores down, told people to stay in place. City of Odessa telling everyone to stay indoors because of this very fluid situation, a developing situation. As you know, if you're joining us from around the country right now on CNN, CBS News, 20 injured so far. We're getting reports of officers shot, middle police officer shot, DPS trooper shot. Very fluid situation right now. Medical Center Hospital on lockdown with emergency room right now. Odessa Regional Medical Center as well as Midland Memorial Hospital, all taking precautionary lockdowns right now as we continue to gather information. You're looking at an empty set right now because we're taking shelter in our newsroom away from these large windows as officers continue to sweep Music City Mall's property right now and I have word that they did get a call of an active shooter. Not confirmed, we just got a call, which is why they are responding here to ensure that this property is safe.
By the way, a number of folks are reaching out to us off Facebook and also checking on us to make sure we're safe.
Yeah.
We can tell you we are safe right now. All of our employees here are safe. And so we just want to be careful. We are going to stay off the set for the time being because there are still officers walking through here. There were reports, apparently, Matthew talked with an eyewitness who said someone thought they heard gunshots.
Yes, they thought they
perhaps
heard
down
gunshots.
near the food court area, which is further along here in the mall. That brought some law enforcement officials over here. Don't know if they reported that to police, but we've seen numerous DPS troopers who are here. We've seen other agencies walk through, and certainly they want to be diligent to make sure everything is covered here. You know, there are reports, too, of people saying multiple people shot, multiple killed. We do not know that for sure. Okay,
Yes,
we do not know.
Double check
I'm
your
just being
stuff,
told
but
that
like I
Devin
said-
Sanchez, that used to work with us as the City of Odessa spokesperson, she apparently reported on Fox News. She is live from the hospital now, and she is the one that said 5 confirmed dead. Now, she didn't say who those people were, so again, we cannot confirm that, but she is at the hospital. Devin Sanchez is at the hospital reporting at Medical Center, so our crews there will hopefully get a chance to talk with her and maybe perhaps get some of that information confirmed. According to Fox News,
That was waving
they
down
are
vehicles.
reporting
It
that,
did look like they were trying to look for a specific vehicle, but I do not know which one that is. Now, right now, we're still waiting for the Odessa police chief to go ahead and make that statement. It looks like they're about ready to walk in right now, so we're going to go ahead and send it back to you, and I'll update you with everything that happened inside the press conference. At Odessa Police Department, I'm Phoenix O'Connor.
Well,
Okay, so we're still waiting to hear more from officials. Right now, they're very busy working many different scenes scattered throughout Odessa.
Yes,
We've heard
yes.
reports of them being at
Synergy.
and
Peaks.
yes, Twin Peaks. We're waiting for a report from the
Market
hospital,
yeah.
from the police department, and obviously very, very busy work for them. We do have confirmed reports out of University Medical Center in Lubbock that a 17-month-old was shot in the face and is headed that way for treatment. So a very serious situation there. And those hospital staff members are standing by, waiting to give that child that toddler, actually 17 months, give that toddler some treatment.
Just trying to. Okay, we are actually about to take the press conference. Okay, guys, so we're about to take a press conference from the Odessa Police Department where we expect to hear from the police chief and hopefully brief us on the latest of this confirmed active shooter situation. Me and Melissa have been here talking about how many different pieces there are. I won't say any more. Let's go ahead and leave it to officials here.
Guys, what I'll do is give a very short opening statement. I'll take a few questions. Then, I mean, surely you guys understand that this is a very fluid situation that we're going to have to get back to, okay? And understand also that we will have periodic updates. This won't be it. We'll keep you guys informed. We'll make sure everyone knows what's going on. Okay.
Sorry,
Wow, what a horrific day for Odessa, Ector County, Midland County. Let's start at the beginning. Situation started about 3:17 this afternoon when a DPS trooper attempted to stop a gold Honda. When the DPS troopers got the car stopped, he was then shot by the occupant of the car. The vehicle continued westbound into the city of Odessa and shot an individual at I-20 in our our east loop. Apparently, the subject then drove on our east loop to 42nd Street, where there were multiple scenes and multiple victims. At some point, the subject stole a mail truck, ditched his car, and there were other victims after that. The victim then went eastbound back on 42nd towards Synergy, which is a local movie theater, and at that point, was contacted by law enforcement, by officers from the Odessa Police Department, the Midland Police Department, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and I'm sure others. Again, this is a very fluid, changing situation. So please understand that what I'm telling you is not written in stone. These facts, this knowledge can change. Okay. At that point, this subject was contacted by law enforcement, and an exchange of gunfire happened, and that subject is deceased at that location. We have law enforcement injured. We have the DPS trooper in Midland County. We have one MPD officer and one OPD officer that were struck. As far as civilian casualties, we have at least 21 victims, 21 shooting victims, and at least 5 deceased at this point in time. Please understand that this is not just an OPD and a Midland Police Department and a DPS thing. Both Sheriff's Office, Midland County Sheriff's Office and Edgar County Sheriff's Office was involved in the hunt for this guy. Our local school district police department, our University of the Texas of the Permian Basin School, police department was involved. This was a joint effort by just a multitude of departments to find this animal and bring him to justice. At this point, I'll take questions.
Has the suspect been identified?
Right now, I'll tell you that he is a white male in his mid-30s. I don't have a positive identification on him yet. I have an idea who he is, so I won't release that information until we're absolutely positive.
Are there any current active shooters going on at this time?
We've had calls, which is to be expected, because obviously our citizens are a little jumpy after this, which is also to be expected. But once this individual was taken out of the picture, there have been no more victims.
Is there a reason to believe that there is a second suspect that is on the loose?
There have been reports that that's possible, but again, there have been no confirmations of that.
Any updates on the conditions of the other people that were shot but are still alive?
I can't tell you that right now, and you know, the big thing is it's so chaotic still at the local hospitals that it's very difficult to get that information.
A lot of people on Facebook are searching for family members who they probably are not able to get a hold of. What's the idea and behind that, and how they can keep in contact with the hospital and other law enforcement?
Well, again, once we are able to compile a list of victims' names, we can absolutely put that out.
Also, I'm sorry, the hospital has set up an area for patients' families. Medical Center Hospital has set up an area for patients' families in the cafeteria, and maybe have called chaplains on staff.
So we got reports of 2 vehicles earlier today. What, I guess, is that not confirmed?
I think what the issue with that was that you had the original vehicle and then you had the mail truck. At one point, we didn't know that was the same person, but that is confirmed now. Same person. Anything else?
Do we know what kind of firearm was used? Was it a gun? Was it a shotgun?
Obviously, it was a gun. At this point, I'm really not sure.
And then how did the incident begin?
Again, it started with the traffic stop, the attempted traffic stop by the UPS.
Precautions for the general public?
You know, I would tell people to still be cautious, still try to stay in their residences if all possible. We do believe that we have the threat contained, but I can't be 1,000% positive that that's the case at this point.
It might be way too early to tell, but any motive that you guys are...
No, absolutely. I can't tell you of a motive at this point.
Do you know what the traffic stop was for?
I do not.
Do you know what happened to the postal employee that, I guess, their truck was hijacked?
At this point, I don't know. I would assume that he's part of the victim list, but I'm not sure of his status.
I saw an ECISD bus going down 191. Are you guys using the school transportation to help the victims or patients or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge, no. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. We're going to go back to work, and we will update you periodically, okay?
sure I have my facts right. Is that okay if I just ask you more
EMS.
questions? Same question that's been confirmed.
I mean, do you want to give it EMS?
This is police Mike.
20.
Mike Gerke.
Jerky. Jerky. It's called Gerke. It's Gerke.
Gerke.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want to give an EMS?
Sure.
Okay,
I don't
Chief
mind.
Alvarez is going to give an EMS update if you guys would like him to.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
Well, welcome back to News West 9 studio. Obviously, we just heard from the police chief some
Mike Gerke from the Odessa Police Department.
Yes, some horrifying statistics there. 21 victims, at least 5 dead.
We know so far that one DPS officer was shot, one Midland police officer, an Odessa police officer, and that latest report says 21 victims were shot, and they have confirmed 5 people died
deceased,
from that shooting.
And
So
we don't have any information on the conditions of those that are injured. You know, you can imagine some of them are critical. We've heard reports of that 17-month-old who's going through being airlifted to the Lubbock hospital. Obviously, hoping she pulls through or whatever the case may be.
One thing I think it's really important to note out of that press conference that we got was that they believe that the threat has been contained, is how they put it.
Right.
And
something that we've been saying pretty much in our entire newscast is that there appeared to be 2 shooters. That does not appear to be the case at this time. Officials, that's why, you know, there's, like you said, these things are so fluid and there's so many moving pieces with the suspect hijacking cars and being identified in different cars and shooting from people at different cars, that it's almost impossible to determine just what exactly was happening, or in this case, how many suspects there were. But thankfully,
yes, they've confirmed that they believe that the threat was contained, and they do not believe that there is a second suspect. However, they are continuing to make sure that there is not someone else out there that might be involved. And so
at this time, stay inside.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to get out.
Still a lot of police presence, still a lot of active investigations. Just let the police do their thing tonight. Make a nice home meal, sit with your family, enjoy your family.
Yeah,
and say a prayer for the victims, maybe. At this time, we are going to toss to Tate Owen, who has more live from out in Odessa.
Okay, yeah, I heard her voice. That by Tate?
Yeah, so I'm out here at Medical Center Hospital in Odessa, and I've been watching the scene unfold as, you know, the last hour has gone by or so. What we know so far is that 5 people have been confirmed dead and 21 injured. Now, it's definitely a somber situation out here right now. I'm going to step to the side so you can kind of take a look at what we've been seeing. So you can see out here that there is an ambulance right now. Now, we're not sure if somebody was being transported in or out on this particular emergency vehicle, but we have had it confirmed by hospital officials that what they're doing right now is taking people out of this particular hospital that have those less critical injuries to make room for people who have the more severe injuries. Now, we also have it confirmed that all hospital personnel has been called in. Now, that's doctors, surgeons, nurses, so all hands are on deck out here at this situation. So, again, 5 people are for sure confirmed dead. We do know that that's absolutely true. Midland police officer, Odessa police officer, also a state trooper included in that count. And we will keep watching this scene. The most active activity that we've seen here so far was about 15 minutes ago or so. There was about 10 officers that took off running to their car, and they all took off from the scene with sirens on and everything. And we aren't sure where they were headed, but like I said, we will keep you updated on the most active information we get as that comes to us. So again, Dana, I'll check back in with you guys as soon as I know some more information.
Okay, well, back here at the News West 9 studios, we're just going through all this information, trying to kind of digest it.
One of the things that came out of the press conference is that they are not sure what kind of firearm was used. So right now we don't know what the shooter was using.
I don't want to speak out of turn. Obviously, caught up in the fluidity of the situation. When I was speaking with DPS officials, they told me that the shooter had a rifle. Now, that's not Odessa police. I mean, obviously these law enforcement agencies all have to speak with one another and confirm information with one another, but that came directly from a DPS official that we rely on for a lot of confirmed information. It was also in the heat of the moment.
Yeah,
but
so just not confirmed right now.
Right, but it appears, he told me that they were using a rifle.
Also really important to note that whenever they're doing those press conferences, they're doing that as a courtesy to the public to let them know what's going on and get us updated. They are taking time during a very hectic moment to give us the very latest information that they have, but Chief Gerke was expressing concern about giving information out that could possibly change even what he was giving us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he painted a little bit of a timeline that kind of cleared up that two-shooter situation for us. Still a little bit of questions about what was going on with that white pickup truck. Obviously, there could have been different descriptions. Maybe something else happened. We just knew that we did have reports at Synergy that came from Police Gerke. So, but if you listen to what he had to say, he basically said, again, as we had suspected, that this all started with a traffic stop just after 3 o'clock. DPS officer tried to pull over a gold Honda on I-20. That suspect, that driver, firing shots, hitting that DPS officer, and then taking off.
Apparently we may have some
I-20 to East Loop, and then East Loop, where he said another person was shot in that area, and then from East Loop to 42nd Street, where apparently most of this chaos took place, and that kind of lines up with everything that we heard from social media reports. Everyone was, what's going on at Home Depot, what's going on at Twin Peaks, such a heavy police presence. And from Police Gerke, Chief Gerke, he said multiple shootings and multiple victims in that area before he traveled to Midland and then back east to Synergy, where he appears to have been killed.
When that trooper initially pulled the suspect over in the gold Honda, the suspect in that gold Honda shot that trooper right there, and this is where the whole thing started. That vehicle went west, like you said, east Loop 250, and traveled to 42nd Street. Multiple victims there, and then multiple victims at Synergy again. Odessa Police, Ector County Sheriffs, Midland Police, Midland County Sheriffs, School District Police, even the colleges and the ECISD, MPD, MISD
all hands
police.
on deck. And
everybody is helping out with this. And
something that's not uncommon to this area, but obviously given the scope and the gravity of this situation, you'd love to see that our officers are
pulling
so able to work together in such fluidity. And if you missed it in the press conference, he did identify the suspect as a white male in his mid-30s. I found it interesting. I don't know if you caught it, but he said that he had an idea
of who it was,
who he might be. Leads us to believe, obviously we don't want to make any assumptions or play the gossip game, but maybe this person was a local. He seemed to have, that's just what I took away from it, considering that he said he might know who he was. That will obviously be released in the near future.
Could mean anything, if they run plates and find out who it is.
That's true.
They just aren't releasing any names, but he did say that he had an idea of who it was that might be the suspect. Again, that suspect was shot, and I think it's really important to mention the victims in this case, because there are 21 victims shot. And at this time, we don't know the names of any of those victims. They aren't releasing those. And one of the reasons I think that they're not releasing those is they said they're compiling a list of names.
A very tense situation on this Labor Day Saturday. Quite a tough situation for everyone, but we are all okay here. We want to make sure you all know that. Again, they're making sure Music City Mall is safe, making sure it's all clear. It was safe enough for us to return to the desk. We made sure that was fine, to make sure everything was safe. They did move everyone outside and across the parking lot when this all happened. We're seeing several videos pop up through our Facebook page. We appreciate you all helping us and sending us these videos that are coming in. We've gotten so much new and for so much information flowing into the newsroom. We've gotten up 21 shooting victims out of this entire situation. 5 of those shot. We are working to get conditions on every one of those victims. Hopefully they will pull through out of this shooting, and they could be between Midland, Odessa. We've gotten reports of some of them were taken to Lubbock.
They had the roads blocked. He ran into a couple of police officers, and they were shooting at the van when it came to a stop. Once I guess they got nearby and they realized that he was not alive, is when they pulled him out of the van. Crazy. I mean, I just never realized that we would ever experience anything like that here in our own community. Because, I mean, we were running, and at the same time, you're looking out for your loved ones, making sure that they're behind you or close by. You know, your heart's going at 100 miles an hour thinking, are we going to get out of here alive? It was crazy. It was scary. It was crazy. Our hearts were racing, and, you know, telling my husband, I didn't know we were going to run out the front door and get shot or run out the front door and be safe.
Obviously, just a very scary situation. You can kind of hear the fear in her voice there as she kind of laid out the end to that shooter's life at Synergy, where he appears to have been shot, and she was kind of there for that. I remember I spoke with when we were kind of receiving all of these phone calls and the heat of the moment and everything was unfolding. We got a call from one of our sales associates, Simona, who was at Synergy as well, and she said SWAT had run into the theaters, and I had so many things to do, and I didn't want to obviously put her off as a friend and a colleague. I was trying to confirm information, but just hearing that fear in her voice, it's something. It's tough to deal with at times. Anyways, now we're going to go ahead and toss it over to Lauren, who has some reports from social media for us.
That's right, Dana. I'm still on social media, just still looking at y'all's tweets, still looking at that information that you're wanting to know from us, or maybe here if you missed it. But like we said, the press conference has confirmed that 5 are dead and 21 have been injured. But of those 5, I've actually come across a tweet. We cannot confirm this information. This was not confirmed in the press conference. Danielle Lay has said mail carrier's whose vehicle was stolen is dead. They did confirm that mail carrier's vehicle was stolen, but she's saying that the mail carrier is dead. My husband works for USPS, and he has confirmed it. It was a young lady. That is just tragic. Do y'all know where that mail carrier was when it was stolen at the time? Do we have that information?
We believe it was out of Odessa. At this time, we're not sure exact of the location.
We know that the vehicle went west on I-20, and according to Chief Gerke, headed down East Loop in Odessa to 42nd Street.
It was at some point in that movement of the suspect that he abandoned his gold Honda and then stole
that mail truck. Yeah.
As you can see on our screen right now, we've got some of our local officials. I've seen Brooks Landgraf. This is Jerry Morales, and we obviously had the statement from Governor Abbott just a few moments ago, who are all expressing their condolences and asking the public to remain safe and, please stay away from going outside tonight. Just stay at home. That's been the message all along since this all started at about 3 o'clock. And now we're actually going to go ahead and toss to Tate Owen, who's still at the Medical Center Hospital, and she's going to give us a little bit of an update from out there. So, Tate, what do you have for us?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm still out here at Medical Center Hospital in Odessa, keeping an eye on the situation as it unfolds. And we're actually not seeing as many ambulances arrive as we would expect to see with a situation like this. Now, we do have reports that are confirmed 5 people are dead, including a Midland police officer, Odessa police officer, and a state trooper. Again, we do have confirmed reports that 21 people are also injured. So if I step out of the scene for you just a little bit so you can take a look at what we've been looking at, you can see that there is an ambulance right here. Now, he's getting ready to leave the premises as we're speaking. So we're not sure if he's transporting somebody out of the facility or in the facility, but we do know for sure it has been confirmed by Medical Center Hospital officials that what they're doing right now in this hospital is transporting people from the to make sure for the people with the more critical injuries. So again, as this situation unfolds, I will keep you updated. I'm going to stay out here at the hospital and watch things, and I'll update you as that continues to happen.
Thanks, Tate. And just for some clarity, I know she's got a lot going on out there at the hospital as she continues to try and compile the latest information for us. It kind of sounded like she said that 5 people were dead, and that included the Midland Police Department officer, the Odessa Police Department, and DPS officer. That doesn't appear to be the case. According to the police chief Gerke, we don't believe any of the officers
and
were killed in this situation.
I'm getting a social media report. This is, of course, unconfirmed. All social media reports are but we are getting a social media report about an area on I-20 from JBS Parkway that there are trucks out there and lots of blood on the road. And it appears to be an oil-filled sand truck. Lots of reports like that coming in where folks are out and about and may not be aware of what's going on and coming across these scenes. And again, if you have relatives that are out and maybe running errands and may not be aware, you might just kind of check on them or ask them to stay put for just a little bit while law enforcement is working a very difficult situation.
And, a little bit removed now from the police conference, I guess, if just in case you're just tuning in, we should probably go ahead and run through the facts of the case. As of right now, although we started with an active shooter threat, it appears that threat is over here in the Permian Basin. That's the latest from Police Chief, Odessa Police Chief, Mr. Gerke. He says the suspect has been killed. We do know that 21 victims were shot. We know that 5 are dead. We know this all started with a traffic stop, which it appears to have taken place in, I believe, Midland County off I-20, and then that's where that suspect during that traffic stop just shot at a DPS officer. The traffic stop was being conducted by DPS, shot the officer, and then possibly shot maybe a civilian there. We know that of the 21, we haven't confirmed how many were shot in each incident, but after that incident, after that traffic stop, he fled the scene, fled to Odessa, shot somebody at I-20 in East Loop, and then took East Loop to 42nd Street, where we got all of those reports. We got all of those phone calls about so many different shootings kind of unraveling there, and by the Twin Peaks, by the Walmart, by that very popular
reports of multiple victims there.
Yeah, very popular shopping area. We got reports that UTPB had been placed on lockdown. I think all of that kind of worked together in that situation. And after those string of shootings, what appears to be, he then fled back to Midland. And at some point, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. At some point, he hijacks a mail van, flees back to Midland, shoots a Midland officer and possibly more victims, and then heads east to Synergy. And that appears to where this all came to an end. And DPS, and as we mentioned, all officers, Midland County Sheriff's Office, Midland Police Department, Ector County, nearly every local agency kind of came together, converged onto the suspect, and were able to shoot and kill that suspect.
We know that suspect is, Chief Gerke says, is a white male in his mid-30s. We know that Chief Gerke says that he believes he knows who the suspect is and has him identified, but they are not releasing any names at this point until they are completely sure and have that information confirmed. We'll get you that information as soon as we have it confirmed, and we will let you know. More importantly, we will get you the names of the victims as soon as we know. They are compiling a list of those victims. We know 21 victims, so at this point we know that 5 are dead. You know, an interesting thing that we don't know yet is they have not said exactly what type of firearm was used, and they have not said why that gold Honda was pulled over initially. We don't know. So far, there are just no reports of that. So we are working on getting you that information. We have a newsroom that is full of people right now and support coming from all of our stations across the state of Texas to help us out with this story. So we will keep you updated on digital and social media as well as here on the air.
Right. And I do have a new statement from President Trump on Twitter as we remain kind of in the focus of all of the nation at this time, given the horrific nature and the gravity of the situation. President Trump has tweeted, and I'll quote, "Just briefed by Attorney General about shootings in Texas. FBI and law enforcement is fully engaged. More to follow." And again, we already know that Governor Abbott, you can see the tweet now on our screen. We also know that Governor Abbott will be in the Permian Basin tomorrow to help brief I guess, federal officials and local law enforcement and kind of try to move forward from this tragedy. You know, Melissa, it's not something that I really wanted to talk about, but obviously, I think if you follow News West 9, you know I was in El Paso, and I saw that community that had to rally together, and I didn't think that I would have to report on something like this again so soon. It's just it's so painful because we just look at the numbers right now as we try to bring you the latest information. We know that 21 people are affected. We know that 5 are dead. We know that those 21 people branch out into families and friends and that make up our community. And obviously, we don't know the condition of those people that are hurt and how many will survive and how many we could end up with more. And just the loss of life, it's something that
senseless. It's senseless.
It's senseless and
yeah, this is something that no community is prepared to deal with, but certainly something that you never expect to happen to you. And you hear so many times people saying that whenever gun violence is going on, and lots of finger pointing. And the bottom line is that we've got to
the bottom line is
bond
the
together
innocent lives that are lost. We need to remember them correctly. We need to mourn them, and this gives the community a chance to come together in tragedy and hopefully eventually send a message to these people of violence that they won't. I don't know. It's just so tough to cover.
Yeah,
these things
and at this point, again, hang on to your loved ones. Tell them to stay inside.
Cook a home cooked meal tonight.
And
say an extra prayer for those victims.
Certainly for the victims, and we're hoping that we don't get any more reports of any more victims. 21 right now, 5 dead.
And of course, that tragic
no
situation
idea
with a 17-month-old.
Yeah, no idea what sort of injuries, but we do know that 17-month-old, that's just under 2 years old, a little toddler, shot in the face, from what we understand, and is heading out to University Medical Center in Lubbock for hopefully the best care that we can possibly get that child.
Yes, Texas.
So keep in mind that it's important to stay out of the way of officers who are trying to work these scenes.
Absolutely.
It's important to let them do their work and do their jobs so that if there is a second suspect, they'll find them. At this point, they've not indicated that there was anyone else involved. They believe there is only one individual that was causing all of this chaos. We believe that's a white male, mid-30s. They believe they know who this white male is. And
one thing I wanted to touch on, you kind of mentioned that they don't believe there's another threat out there right now. They believe that one suspect was the case and one suspect has been killed. But we have gotten reports of the Odessa City Mall. We've gotten reports of the Midland Mall. And Police Chief Gerke addressed that, and he said, these calls are okay. If you're frightened or if you feel something might be out of place, please call. Let us look into it. Let us have our officers respond to it. Let's prevent any other violence from happening. He understands people are a little jumpy, and he understands, given the nature of this case, that people are a little on edge. So remain vigilant, remain aware of your surroundings. But as of right now,
many places, rightfully so,
Right.
went on lockdown.
Right.
And I know we had a Bureau reporter out at the Ector County Coliseum. They locked down that Ector County Coliseum. He was inside. He said there was nothing there that was out of the ordinary, and that they did take them off lockdown, but kept that heavy law enforcement presence just outside of the gates to make sure that everybody was safe inside. So again, law enforcement taking extra precautions to keep people safe. We know that Music City Mall was also an area that they were concerned about to get inside, make sure that the folks that were inside of the mall were okay. And at this point, we don't have specific details, but I believe many of those folks out there in the mall were evacuated as well. So just taking those extra precautions and making sure that
anytime
they're
there's a
safe.
situation like this, take every precaution necessary. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Now, right now, we do have another soundbite that's come in from a witness to these shootings. We're going to go ahead and let you hear what they had to say.
Well, things are hectic out here. Had a lot of people scrambling into the Coliseum, just trying to get to safety because there were, rumors of active shooters in the area. Of course, that's all been confirmed now. So a lot of people just taking shelter inside the Coliseum. There's a mother kind of running out towards the midway where the rides are and whatnot, and saying she was going after her daughter. Oh my gosh, she had to get her daughter, and that was kind of sent everybody into a little frantic situation right there. But she got her daughter and a couple other little kiddos that were with that family. And shortly after that, quite a few people came running into the Coliseum. Heavy law enforcement presence on the premises still, and I would imagine that will continue to be the case still.
Okay, well, we are getting some new information into the newsroom at this time. We do know that there are some events going on in the Permian Basin right now, including
that Permian Basin Fair,
which
is there at the Ector County Coliseum.
Which is still going on, as is being reported from one of our reporters, but the crowds are very thin, and really you're not recommended to go out there. If you had plans to go out there, go out another night, maybe reschedule it for another time, because tonight is just, you don't want to be on the roads. There are still investigations, there are still police presences out there. You don't want to get involved with that. And our other reporter was able to inform us that Summer Mummers has also been canceled for tonight. So, sure, you can get a rain check on those tickets. It's a great event. Everybody loves Summer Mummers, but not tonight.
I'm getting an unconfirmed report that is an update on the Midland police officer who was shot. This unconfirmed report says that he is out of surgery and is in stable condition. Now, this, again, is very unconfirmed, but at this point, if that is the case, that would be very good news. Very good news. And any other reports that we have coming in?
We actually have a breaking report right now. I don't want to interrupt you, but we are going to have a press conference from the Medical Center Hospital with Tate, so let's go ahead and hear the latest from what's going on there. Maybe we can find out what's going on with all those victims that we know were affected.
I'm going to go live.
I think it's a TBU because my TBU is plugged into the car.
All right. We try to give everybody time to set up. Sorry. All right, here we go. Thank you all for coming out here on a short notice. We appreciate you being here. First of all, we're just going to be very short and very brief, but we felt it necessary just to update everybody and just to get on top of this situation. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Russell Tippin. I'm the CEO of Medical Center Health Systems. I'm joined here by Matt. He's our Chief Operations Officer. We have Cherise here. She's an RN. And then we have our marketing guy here, Lucas. So what I'm going to do here just briefly is give some facts, some quick information. I know everybody's wanting to know what the status and everything is, but we just want to come out here brief. After this is over, we're going to go back, get some more details, to get our heads wrapped around this, and then we'll inform the media when we're going to come out again with some more information, okay? So first of all, let me start with this. Anybody that hears the sound of my voice, you need to grasp on to your loved ones and hold on to them, and you need to pray for this town and all the towns and the families and the victims involved. You need to hold on to them because this is a scary incident and nobody is guaranteed tomorrow. And if you are here, you can hear my voice, please take a minute to stop and give your thoughts and your prayers to all the families and the victims of this tragic incident, okay? First of all, that's the first thing we need to do first is do that. I'm going to give you just some information about what we have going on here at Medical Center, and let me give you an update. What we know is right now we have 14 victims in the hospital, okay? We have 14 victims inside. I'm not ready to discuss ages or anything like that, but I will let you know we have 14 people on site. The hospital has staged an area for the families. We have counselors, grief counselors, everybody, social workers with the families right now, trying to provide them support. So we have them staged in an area. We have an executive nurse, and the nursing team is assigned to that area to take families and update them on their family members or friends that are here. And so we have somebody assigned to that to work with the families, okay? The hospital and all the locations are locked down, and that's only for the safety of our staff and for everybody in the hospitals, okay? Once we feel it safe to open that back up, we will. But right now, everything is locked down for safety purposes, all right? Our nurses, doctors, everybody, lab techs, housekeeping, everybody is doing a fantastic job. We have good blood sources. We have good supplies right now. Everything is good at this point, okay? As far as we know, we're hearing it like y'all are. We're getting a lot of updates, a lot of information, but right now the hospital is stable, is secure. Everybody that was in the hospital, we've secured them. We're taking care of them while taking in all these people at the same time, okay? So that's what we know. We have 14 victims here. Their conditions vary, but we're not ready to speak on that, but we do have 14 here, all right? I don't think I need to do any questions or comments other than that right now. I just wanted to update y'all on what's going on, and then we will give you more information as we have it, okay? All right, thank y'all very much. We'll be back.
Okay, again, just to recap what is happening there at Medical Center Hospital. That was Russell Tippin, the CEO. There is a nurse and a marketing person with him as well. We know there are 21 victims that were shot. 5 are dead. But at Medical Center Hospital, they've taken in about 14 victims. They have a staging area there for the family.
Right. Grief counselors,
everybody pitching
resources, anything that you would kind of need, or obviously food and just kind of taking care and making sure people can spend their time there with the victims and provide the support that they need, and obviously the counseling aspect of it too.
Tough situation there. The hospital is on lockdown. Right. So again, that's an area you want to stay away from. Those conditions of the victims are
right. One other thing to note, like
just
you said,
vary. So they don't really didn't elaborate on what condition or the victims who they were. But we do know that there are various conditions with those 14 victims that are being treated there. So obviously these other victims have been taken elsewhere for treatment. But that hospital is on lockdown.
Right, the hospital is on lockdown. And they said, again, like you said, just for the safety of the victims, for the safety of the staff. So right now, you know, if something happens, you need to go to the hospital, probably head somewhere else, because that hospital is not taking patients from what it appears at this time.
One good thing is to hear that everybody is pulling together, everybody from the nurses to doctors and staff members, even the cleaning crews that are helping out. They did say they have good blood supplies, and the hospital is stable right now, so everything seems to be going smoothly there as far as the treatment of those victims.
Now, you can imagine that we'll probably need blood in the future, but it appears that as of right now, for the given initial reaction to the situation, they're good. So anytime there's a situation like this, blood donations are always needed. So we expect to hear some events taking place here in the Permian Basin that will certainly try to help with that need.
In case you're just joining us, we are covering a very difficult event here in the Permian Basin. DPS trooper tried to pull over a gold Honda. This all started with this one car being pulled over. When that DPS trooper tried to pull that Honda over, that driver of that Honda shot that DPS trooper. That vehicle then traveled down East Loop into Odessa on 42nd Street. Multiple victims there, where he stole a postal van and took off, I believe, going to Midland.
Back to Midland. Shot what we believe was a Midland officer. Maybe some more victims. We don't really know about. I mean, we're doing the numbers as we get them. We know 21 victims. We know 14 at Medical Center Hospital. We know one was airlifted, and we know the officers. So we don't know exactly how many people were shot in what city or what that case may be, but we'll obviously paint that picture. Now,
after going to Midland, though, went back to Odessa and to the Synergy there. And again, multiple victims.
Now we do have something that
in those various locations.
We want to go ahead and we know we have a lot of college students in the area, and a lot of this craziness was taking place at that Twin Peaks in that 42nd and University area. So UTPB, they had issued a lockdown of their campus. So right now we just got this tweet from the University of Texas of the Permian Basin that's asking students, and I'll read in quote, "If you are on campus resident, we will be verifying that you are okay. If you live in the RDH, your RAs or hall director will be checking with you. If you live in apartments, please come to the Parker Ranch House at 6:30 to check in." Obviously, just want to make sure that all of their students are okay and that everyone is accounted for.
And we are getting messages.
Speaking of social media, though, I don't want to interrupt you. We do have Victor Blanco on deck, who's been wanting to share with us some of what's going on in social media. He's definitely the most in touch and in tune guy that we have. So, Victor, what's going on in the social media world?
Thank you, Dana. Thousands of people are reaching out to address what is happening, including our president. President Trump reached out to say he has received a brief on what is happening, as well as local government. You can see behind me here we have President Trump tweeted about it, saying that he was addressed by General Barr about the shootings in Texas, as well as other law enforcement agencies that are engaging. I'd also like to share with you some tweets from local government. We had J. Ross Lacey tweeted out prayers for both communities of Midland and Odessa. This is truly a tragedy. And of course, Representative Brooks Landgraf, he reached out to say the tragic situation unfolding in Odessa is serious. Please stay in your homes. I've been in contact with DPS officials, speaker, and governor, and we are working to help in any way possible. But in the meantime, he's asking that you pray for these victims. And again, you're not alone. There are grief counselors out there, but if you're not able to make it to them and you just need to speak with somebody, please feel free to reach out on social media. Our newsroom, our phone number line is online. You can reach out anytime. Let's go ahead and toss things back over to you, Dana and Melissa. Thanks.
Thanks, Victor. We just found out that Medical Center Hospital is going to have another briefing about 7:45, about an hour from now. So they will continue to update us on what's happening there. They're treating 14 victims from the shooting. Right now, the total in all is 21 victims, with 5 of those already confirmed to be dead. Right. We know that a 17-month-old was transported to University Medical Center Hospital in Lubbock, right, and is going to be treated there. Our thoughts and our prayers are going out to all of the families involved. And again, recapping a traffic stop for reasons right now that we do not know. Yeah. Gold.
We don't even know why he was pulled over. That's still another big question.
Gold Honda. DPS trooper
planned?
Pulled over.
Was he speeding? Was he driving recklessly to get pulled over? Just so many unanswered questions. Obviously, those will unfold in the investigations to come. But speaking of the Medical Center Hospital, we're going to go ahead and toss things back out to Tate Owen. She has another update for us from the hospital. Tate.
All right, yeah, so I am out here at MCH, and I'm talking with some people out here. They're all bystanders, just kind of taking a look at the situation and really trying to take it in for what it is. Now, we just heard from a hospital official who told us that it is definitely a scary situation that's unfolded. He said that if you're able to hear his voice, or I guess my voice at this point, that you should hug your loved ones and be thankful that you're here. Now, he said that the town definitely needs prayers. They do have grief counselors inside the hospital at the time to help the families kind of cope with everything that's been going on. So, again, he did tell us that there are 14 people here at MCH that are being treated. Now, like I said earlier, there were people that were transported out of the hospital to make room for those more critical patients. That was what we heard from medical center officials. Now, again, we've been told that the blood supplies are good. They're not needing any blood or anything right now. The hospital is stable, but it is on lockdown. Now, he said that was for the safety of both the hospital officials and the patients. So that is what is happening right now. I'm going to step out of the way just a little bit so that you can get a good look at the scene. Now, the hospital official also said that information is coming in waves, so he's going to continue to update us as information comes available. Now, victims started being brought in approximately around 4 p.m. at this particular hospital. He also mentioned that they're pretty much at capacity, so they can't really handle any more patients if any more need to brought in. He couldn't say whether or not there were victims at other local hospitals at the time, but we do have 5 people that were confirmed dead and 21 injured, so we do know that they have to be at other locations, just kind of by trial of elimination. Now, of those people dead, we do know that it for sure has included a Midland Police Department officer, Odessa Police Department, and a state trooper. So just keep in mind how serious the situation is. The hospital is going to provide us more information at 7:45 this evening, and as we get more information, of course, we'll continue to update you. So just go ahead and stay tuned with us at News West 9, and I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
The Texas Department of Safety, they're all working.
Thank you, Tate. I do want to share with you, UTPB just tweeted out that the dining hall will stay open tonight until 9 p.m. to accommodate any students. If you need to go and eat, check in, speak with somebody, they are there and they're available. You can see behind me, there's the tweet. Again, they'll stay open until 9 p.m. Just stop by, check in with somebody, make sure that you're okay if you need it. Again, there's 51,000 people talking about this online right now if you'd like to join in. It is very unfortunate that we're trending at the moment for this reason, but it is happening, so go ahead and hop over there. We got plenty of tweets coming in and out. Again, we have all of our local government reaching out to let us know. Mike Conaway and his wife Suzanne, they said they're praying for our men and women in blue, victims, first responders on scene, hospital staff preparing for the worst, and loved ones of all affected by this senseless act of violence in Midland and Odessa. And they ask everyone to stay safe and stay informed. So again, you can read there. UTPB will open their dining hall. Again, if you're an on-campus resident, they will be verifying that you're okay. So you'll need to check in with your RDH or your RAs or hall directors, and they're going to come check in with you. If you live in the apartments, please come to the Parker Ranch at 6:30. That's this evening, 6:30 at the Parker Ranch house to check in. They just want to make sure that everyone is okay. Again, 51,000 people talking about this. Reach out if you have something to say. Join that conversation. If you are a student on campus, please go check in with your RA and let them know that you are home and you are safe so that we can get everybody accounted for. At this time, let's go ahead and throw things back over to you, Dana and Melissa.
Thank you, Victor. So,
thanks, Victor.
As we continue to compile this information, I think every few minutes, we should probably just try to relay what happened as we learn about it and we kind of digest it. I'll go ahead and go through the facts of what we know in this case. And again, it all started at just after 3 o'clock, a traffic stop in Midland County by a DPS officer on I-20. That traffic stop led to the driver shooting at the DPS officer, which then struck that DPS officer. He was injured but in stable condition. The scene then goes, that driver then fled the area, went west on I-20, ended up at about the East Loop in I-20, shot another person according to police, and then headed east towards 42nd Street. That's where a majority of this mayhem took place. We're told that there were multiple shooting scenes, multiple victims, and that's also where police have said he hijacked a mail van, took that mail van back to Midland, there in Midland, apparently shot a Midland police officer and then headed back east. And again, this is where it all kind of comes to an end by reports of police that he made it to about the Synergy, the Odessa Synergy, and that's where so many local law enforcement agencies were able to converge on this suspect, get him pulled over, get him stopped in his vehicle, and at some point exchange gunfire, killing that suspect, who has been identified as a white man in his 30s. Some of the things that we're still unaware of are how many people were shot at each location, and the gun that he used, the firearm. Again, I spoke with DPS in the heat of the moment. They told me that it was a rifle. We don't know what kind of type of rifle or what kind of really anything else about the firearm, other than the speculation that that DPS officer in the heat of the moment mentioned that it was a rifle.
We know 21 victims right now.
Right.
I believe Chief Gerke said that those victims were shot, but we do not have any sort of idea of the severity of the victims, and no indication right now of that. And we're working right now to get that information.
Right.
We know that out of those 21 victims that were shot, one was a DPS officer, one was a Midland Police Department officer, and one was an OPD officer. 5 people are dead now from this shooting rampage, and we know that 14 of these people are being treated at Medical Center Hospital.
Again, all with varying conditions.
Varying conditions, and Medical Center Hospital is compiling a list of names of those victims, and hopefully we'll get some more information for you on those victims. Medical Center Hospital did say that they would have another press conference in about an hour at 7:45. I think it's, about an hour from now. And so we hope to bring you some more information. And of course, we are tracking all of this information on social media, and we are you can get information on our webpage. Anything that we can get you that comes into our newsroom, we have an entire team in there working on this right now. So information is still coming in, and again,
we've gotten a flood of information. We try to confirm everything that we can with officials. Obviously, you've seen the press conferences that we posted.
Making sure, though, that even Chief Gerke's information said could change. So just know that what we are giving you is the best information that we have. So this is what we know right now.
Right. This is very fluid. What we know, one shooter is what it appears to be. Chief Gerke stands by that statement. One shooter started with a traffic stop, shot a DPS officer, stole a mail van, shot multiple people within Odessa, within Midland. We have 21 victims as of right now. 5 people are dead of those victims. Don't know the gun. The man that was arrested was a white male in his 30s, and he is dead, killed by officers at what appears to be Synergy.
And Chief Gerke said, though, that they didn't have any shootings after that suspect was caught. So some good news there that maybe it's contained.
Couple of nervous calls, jumpy calls. People, something's going on. People are nervous, and which is perfectly understandable, and they respect those calls, and they don't enjoy those calls, that's the wrong term, but they appreciate those calls because they want to make sure everyone's safe, and they take every precaution. But as of right now, like you said, no other victims, and it doesn't appear to be an active threat. Now, we do have some new video coming in. This is from within Twin Peaks. I haven't seen it, so viewer, beware.
Okay, is this raw video that's coming in?
This is raw video from...
shot by a viewer?
Yes.
Okay.
You can see the officers in heavy artillery with their armored gear on and their helmets and assault rifles in hand. A scary situation for anyone, obviously, eating at that restaurant. We did get reports that that suspect went east on the East Loop, and at 42nd Street there was really a scene of mayhem where there were multiple shootings and multiple victims. Obviously, officers responding with all force needed right there in that situation. Just, it's scary to watch. I mean, you have to have the utmost respect for our officers who are willing to put themselves in harm's way anytime their duty is called. And heavy artillery, heavy firearms, armored gear, just ready to take on what appeared to be a very dangerous situation. Now, it didn't get resolved there. That suspect was
available to them, to the victims' families. They were having a staging area
off to
at
our
Medical Center
medical
Hospital
staff
for
here
the
in the
families
area
of the victims.
who are taking care of these victims. They are trained for this, and they do train throughout the year for active shooter type situations, or for situations where multiple victims are coming in at one time. Right. So they're really being put to the test today because it's a difficult time. Can't stress enough that we do know that the suspect is no more shootings after that suspect was taken down by police. But we are encouraging everybody, and law enforcement is asking you to stay out of the way of their work and to stay home while they make sure that this situation is under control.
Like you said, cook a home-cooked meal, stay in with the family, hug your loved ones, stay close with everyone tonight, and just say a prayer for the victims. Obviously, we have quite a few victims, and like I kind of mentioned before, from my experience in El Paso, you see how quickly that branches out into a community. With 21 victims, there'll be friends, there'll be family, there'll be friends of friends, and obviously we'll have more stories. We'll identify them and remember them and mourn them, and we can expect those kind of things to happen in the near future as we learn more about who those people were and how their lives were tragically cut short. Right now we have another look at the screen. We're going to cut to that. This is a look at Synergy. This was the scene. We obviously have told you that that shooter's life, the active shooter threat, came to an end nearby that Synergy. So you can see just how many law enforcement officers are there. Heavy police presence from Odessa, DPS, I'm sure there's Midland Department. I mean, just in that small little frame of maybe 20 yards, we see about 30 vehicles there.
All law enforcement has in the area has pitched in to help out. We know that we have Odessa Police Department, the Ector County Sheriff's Department, Midland PD, the Midland County Sheriff's Department, and even the MISD and Ector County Independent School District Police, as well as the colleges here in the area with their police patrols are helping out. So a very good show of support and teamwork amongst law enforcement here in the Permian Basin to handle this situation for everybody.
Which is so important because given the proximity of Midland and Odessa and the fact that the suspect was racing from one city to the other, without that kind of communication, without that kind of fluid response, there could have been a lot more danger, there could have been a lot more damage. Not to understate anything that's happened here, but obviously you have to be thankful for the police's response and how they were able to kind of converge and end this situation, such a dangerous situation for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
Well, at this time, we have been on air now for about 2 hours. We want to continue to broadcast to you, let you know everything that as it comes into our newsroom, give you the latest information, the latest from officials as it comes in. But right now, we are going to go back to your regular scheduled programming in just a few seconds. But we will continue on the website at newswest9.com and as well as Facebook Live. So you can continue to watch us. You can continue to bring you all the latest information as we get it. Obviously, we still expect to hear through officials throughout the night. We still expect to hear more about the victims. We still expect to paint this grisly picture and mourn everybody that deserves to be mourned. It's going to be a long night, but we will be here. We'll be here to give you all the latest news and all the latest word from officials, so stick with us on newswest9.com. And again, we'll be back at Newswest 9 at 10. And thank you for sitting in. Okay, well, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and toss things over to Victor, who's been watching our social media presence and watching the social media presence in the Permian Basin.
Thank you, Dana. Yes, I am. Again, we're trending online with over 50,000 people talking about us on Twitter alone. The hashtag Midland shooting has started trending. And again, if you want to join in on that conversation, many people are reaching out, especially UTPB, who is saying if you are a student or even if you're a non-student and you're in the area and you'd like to seek counseling or you just want to check in with somebody, please reach out to them online. That's on Twitter at UTPB, or just reach out to us here on News West 9. And we do have News West 9 Digital. Again, many people all around are tweeting about this, to include President Trump, Governor Abbott, who said he will be visiting tomorrow for a press conference. But I just want to read to you some other tweets that we had come in earlier. Again, from J.C. Ross Lacey, who tweeted out that his prayers for both the communities of Midland and Odessa, saying that this was truly a tragedy. And then again, Representative Landgraf, again, behind me there you can see Ken Paxton, who said, I'm horrified to see such a senseless act terrorize the fine people of the Permian Basin. Thank you to the courageous local and state first responders who worked quickly today. So again, many of our state officials and local representatives have reached out to share their condolences and their prayers. So if you would like to join that conversation, just head on over to Twitter. We also have a story on Facebook. Everyone is putting their comments there as well. Again, Representative Landgraf also reached out to say that he's working with DPS and the governor and the speaker to help in any way possible. In the meantime, he asked for everyone to continue sending prayers, keeping Midland and Odessa in your thoughts. Same for Representative Conaway, who said he and Susanna, his wife, are praying for our area, the men and women in blue, victims, first responders on scene, hospital staff preparing for the worst, and loved ones all affected by this senseless act of violence. Again, these are all coming for Twitter, so if you want to join in on that conversation, head on over there. You really just have to go online. It's at the top of the page because it is getting that much attention. People are sending their thoughts, their prayers, their condolences, and if you feel you need to reach out to somebody, please join that conversation. Find UTPB. They are holding several areas where you can come and meet with them. So let's go ahead and take things back over to Dana. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Victor. And as we continue our digital coverage here, obviously just a very scary situation that unfolded in our community. Again, this all started at just about after 3 o'clock, where a traffic stop led to a shooting of a DPS officer. Now, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and give you all the details that we do and don't know as I break down this timeline. We know that a traffic stop happened just again after 3 o'clock, about 3:17. A gold Honda was pulled over. We don't know why the car was pulled over, but that driver opened fired, hitting the DPS officer, and then took off. He then drove west on I-20 to the East Loop, is what we're told by Police Chief Gerke, where he shot another person at that time, and then went ahead and went east on the loop to 42nd Street, and this is really where all the mayhem that we're told unfolded. We're told there were several shootings, several victims, and at some point this man left that gold Honda behind and then hijacked a federal mail van and then took that mail van back to Midland. I'm not sure if he was eluding authorities or if they had caught up to him at this point, but he shot a police officer in Midland and then headed east, where he was stopped at about the Synergy. Right there on 151, we've seen plenty of cell phone video. We'll take some of it here in just a moment to show you some of the scene that we saw out there when they surrounded that van, which ultimately led to this demise. That we're told that that shooter exchanged gunfire with police, and they were able to kill him in his van. Now, going over the victims, we're told that there were 21 victims total. We're told that 5 people are dead. Of those victims, we're told that 1 Midland police officer, 1 Odessa police officer, and 1 DPS officer were injured. They all appear to be recovering in surgery. Some of those reports are unconfirmed, but we did get an official report that the DPS officer was stable. Again, the suspect has been identified by police as a white male in his 30s. We don't know exactly what kind of gun he was using. In the heat of the moment, as I was speaking with officials and all of this was taking place, DPS officials did tell me that he was armed with a rifle. Now, since the shooter was killed, police have said that there have been no other victims confirmed. There have been some reports of some suspicious activity at, we've heard the Music City Mall in Odessa, the Midland Mall, the Ector County Coliseum. Obviously, people on edge, people a little jumpy, and Police Chief Gerke said, you know, this is fine. Call in these reports. We appreciate them. We want to make sure we take every precaution. But they have investigated. They have been working through them. And as of right now, we have no other active threats reported in the Permian Basin. But still, I think it goes without saying, in the community tonight, you're asked to just stay inside, cook a home-cooked meal, stay with your family, you know, embrace your loved ones, say a prayer for the victims. Obviously, there are 21 they're friends and family of 21 people who are going to be in a very sad and tragic place tonight. So here at News West 9, we extend our condolences, and we hope the community will come together and embrace these victims, and hopefully, as we move forward, mourn them in the proper way. As for those 21 victims, we as of right now, we are told that 14 of them are at Medical Center Hospital continuing to receive treatment. All of their conditions are varied. We do know that at the Medical Center Hospital there has been a stage set up for them, so families, counselors, nurses, they can all kind of come together and work with one another and, you know, express that grief, get some counseling, and obviously get the food, water, and whatever they need. And as for the Medical Center Hospital, what we just heard in the latest press conference, that it is on lockdown as of right now. So if you have some sort of medical situation tonight, you might want to have to find another place to go, because for the safety of those victims and for the safety of the staff, that hospital remains on lockdown. As of right now, we're going to go ahead and toss things over to our social media guru, Victor Blanco, who's been checking in on social media, and he's also with Anthony Franz.
Dana, I just wanted to take this moment while we are talking about people reaching out and helping out.
Right.
If it's not life-threatening, there is a Facebook. People are reaching out for the Odessa shooting and the Midland shooting, offering help, offering food, offering water.
Right.
So
if any and all help is definitely necessary and also very appreciated if you can do so. Something that is, when we have a tragedy like this, is coming together is something that we really need to do.
It's very important. And if it's not exactly an emergency, maybe you're just scared and want to check in with people.
Right.
You know, the emergency services are going to be incredibly busy, so please check in with someone, check in on Facebook, check in on Twitter. Just let someone know you are okay. Again, at UTPB, they are holding, they've tweeted out several areas that you can go to. They're holding little get-togethers and gatherings for food, if you just need shelter, anything of that sort. And we are continuing to receive an outpour online of just, it's crazy, it's overwhelming.
We've gotten so much in here. It's overwhelming how much people are coming together right now already, and we just need to continue to do that for all the 21 victims here and at least the 5 that have died today in this senseless shooting. So if you want to talk about Brooks Landgraf's tweet
again,
here.
there you can see all of our local officials have been reaching out to send their condolences. Representative Landgraf is one of them here, saying the tragic situation unfolding in Odessa is serious. Please stay in your homes. He has said he's spoken with DPS officials, the speaker, and the governor, Governor Abbott, who said he will be coming to make a visit tomorrow, and that they will be working to help in any way possible, and again, asking for those prayers for the victims, for the law enforcement, for anyone involved. And again, just make sure you're checking in with your own family in the area. Check in online. Make sure everyone knows where you are and that you are safe in this trying time. We'll continue to monitor social media. If anything, any updates come there, we will we'll let you know. Dana, back to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Victor. So as we continue to break down the information that we've received, we just want to kind of go through it over and over for you guys, for those who are just tuning in. As we kind of move forward, you mentioned, Victor and Anthony, about the outpouring of support that social media has seen from across the country. I can speak from my experience in El Paso. I won't get into too much, but it's at times like this that communities have to pull together in order to remember one another and the bonds that we have, and remember the victims and mourn the victims. Moving forward, we're going to go ahead and show you some video right here. This is a scene outside of Synergy where that suspect's life was apparently ended before he killed 5 people and injured another 21 in the shooting. Now, Police Chief Gerke tells us that the suspect ended up at Synergy after what appears to be a wild ride of shooting and hijacking cars. It started with a traffic stop where he shot that DPS officer and then made his way eventually to 42nd Street near Twin Peaks, where several other shootings took place. And then before going to Midland and then coming back east to Synergy, where we take you right now with this video. As you can see, the crime scene kind of set up. And obviously just in that little 10-15 yards of the camera shot, you can see how many police vehicles converged. I'm sure there's many more around the area, and that area is obviously all blocked off and locked off and still under investigation. So